Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's having a fabulous day today. Happy Wednesday, or if you're watching this on the replay and another day, good day to you as well. Speaking of replays, if you are watching this, let me know with a hashtag replay. I would appreciate that, as well as know that the link will be dropped below about replays for all of the Wellness Wednesdays. So those have been updated. The reason why I say that is because there is a lot of things that are interconnecting. So I didn't necessarily plan it out that way, but it's interesting how when we talk about health and wellness, everything seems to play off of each other. So we're going to be talking about the skeletal system today. I think it was kind of fitting with it being the month of October, but this is a new series start. Good morning, Wendy. With the new series start, we'll be going over different systems of the body. Okay, so we're going to start out with the skeletal system and then move into other systems. I think that this is a different play on what most of you guys are getting from lives. And so I kind of wanted to give you a little bit different spin to make things be a little bit, hopefully, beneficial to you holistically. Okay, and so the things that I'm going to talk about today are really going to go back 2, 3, 4 videos and kind of implement or solidify some of the things that I had talked about, in those videos. So when we did the series last time with little things that make a big difference on your plate, it's interesting because a lot of these things are kind of cross layering. And so hopefully those are becoming a little bit easier for you to remember as you hear them again and again. We say that you have to hear something 7 times for it to kind of be ingrained into your memory. And so hopefully some of this stuff is starting to get that way, because I know you guys have heard this before. It's not rocket science, it's not brand new research, but it is something that I think that we need to be reminded of from time to time. And so that's why we are going through the different systems. Today, like I had said earlier, is the skeletal system. Aren't you glad that you have bones? So if we didn't have bones, of course, we would be a big pile of mush and not be able to move from places to places. We'll be talking a little bit more about the things that interconnect to our bones, like our muscles, ligaments, tendons, all of those different types of things as we move through the weeks. But I wanted to start out with the main structure, okay? And so I think a lot of people misunderstand the fact that our bones are always changing. So we think that we're the same. Once we peak adulthood, we don't really change physique too much, sometimes in regards to, our height and things of that nature. And so people sometimes assume, well, my bones are grown, so my bones are my bones, right? But your bones are made of cells, and those cells are constantly dying and regenerating. And so do know that at the age of 30 is kind of your peak for bone mass. So what you're going to be able to have by the age of 30 is going to be a lot of times where you're going to see the most density, roundabout-ish, right? After that, unfortunately, as we age, you guys all know that you will be losing more bone mass, and these cells won't be regenerating as efficiently as we decline in age. And so this is where we talk about osteopenia and osteoporosis. Okay, so osteopenia is just low bone mass, and then osteoporosis is brittle bones. And so these are both characterized by low bone density. Okay, and so we know as females we have a higher likelihood of having this, just because as we were created and designed, we don't have as much bone mass in general in comparison to the man, as well as we lose these density, we lose calcium, we lose these different things in our body. A lot of times when we are pregnant and we aren't as healthy, our body will pull from us, of course, to give the baby what it needs. And so this is also sometimes can be one of those continuing factors of why we have a higher likelihood of these things than in comparison to our male counterparts. But what I do want to talk to you about for just a little bit is 7 key things that you can do to help fight osteoporosis, to help that bone density. So do remember, like I said, you are at your peak at 30. But if you are 55 and listening to this, it doesn't mean that, all hope is lost. They do say that all the calcium in your bones are more likely to be absorbed and solidified and by the age of 4, which is really funny because I feel like as we get older, we still say that we know that, calcium is one of the things that's very important to us and our bone health, but the absorption rate is just diminished a lot. And so I'll actually talk about that one first. And so this one kind of correlates back to the vitamin topic that we did a few weeks ago. And so depending on your age, what is recommended is somewhere between 1,000 milligrams to 1,300 milligrams a day of calcium, okay? So the 1,300 milligrams is more for like adolescents, those that are like still building that peak. The 1,000 milligrams is for those after 30, but if you're over 55, it's around 1,200. And so again, I feel like those are all numbers that are very confusing and like, what exactly does that mean? How does that work? So around 1,000 milligrams a day is what is suggested. And so I will say this again, I would recommend if you are going to do this from a supplement and not from diet, that you would buy 500 milligram tablets because your body can only absorb a certain amount of calcium in one sitting. And so as much as we want to buy one pill and only have to take things once, your ability to absorb that calcium is not as high if you don't do smaller proportions that your body can absorb a little bit more efficiently, okay? And I'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about vitamin D and vitamin K. So again, back to our vitamin video that we did a few weeks ago, we talked about vitamin K, and vitamin D, and both of those are fat-soluble vitamins. And so if you missed the facts from last week, you'll want to go back and look at that, because the only way that you're going to be able to absorb these two vitamins is with the absorption of fat. And so you will need some fat in your diet. Of course, we talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly last week, but vitamin D helps you absorb calcium, okay? And so this is why we say that it's so important to have the vitamin D and the calcium together. So a lot of times you'll see, fortifications of different things, and they'll always have vitamin D and calcium together. Oh, those smart people. It's because the absorption rate of both of them is a little bit better when they are combined together. Okay. The other thing that we talk about when we talk about, vitamins and minerals and all of these different types of things, it's just fruits and vegetables, okay? Again, like I said earlier, this is not rocket science. This is not something that is brand new and super awesome. It's just solidifying some of the things that you probably are already doing, okay? And so one of the vitamins that's really key in cell development is vitamin C. And so you're going to be able to get this through a lot of your vegetables and fruit, okay? So I was reading when I was, kind of getting ready for this talk, and what it was saying is that women that ate onions regularly were actually 20% more likely to have a higher bone density because of the vitamins and minerals that were in the onion. Similar studies were done with other fruits and vegetables, and it's interesting to see how if we eat what we know is supposed to be great for us, if we eat the things that are, natural to the earth, those things naturally bring in what we need to be able to get us to where we want to go in regards to our health and our wellness. And so don't discredit the fact that, you always hear eat your fruits and vegetables. It is still the same as when you were 4 and you had great calcium absorption, and you are now 44 or 74. Eat your fruits and vegetables. It's a good thing, okay? The other thing is strength training. And so this does not matter necessarily if it is weight bearing or if it's just body weight. So I would start out with body weight exercises. If you aren't exercising regularly, these will give you enough of the time under tension. So bands, things like that can also be added in with the weights, but just plain body weight to begin with is completely fine, and also helps bone density be able to minimize the loss and also regain. And so if you need help with fitness, if you need help with a community, accountability, all of those different types of things, I do have a lovely group available. And this is the things that we talk about and we do in regards to training for cardiovascular activity and strength training. But strength training is very important in regards to bone density. Kind of keep that in mind. According to the American College of Sports Medicine, what we're usually supposed to be getting is 2 full days of body weight or strength training and or exercises every single week. And so that means that either, full body done one day and then full body done another day, or you could break it up and do halvesies, upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, and that would take you 4 days. It's completely up to you and what you want to do. That's what's great, is the flexibility with that. But also in correlation to strength training, we also have making sure that we are consuming enough of the nutrients that we need, okay? And so what has been shown with research too is that when we go on these crazy fad diets, that we have an extreme loss of caloric intake. So the ones that are starvation mode prone, ones that I would say anything less than like 925 a day, which is really, really low for anyone. What ends up happening is your body goes into shock and your density is pulled to be able to keep you sustaining. So it will pull from muscles, it will pull from bone, it will pull from anything that it needs, because your body's ultimate goal is to keep you alive. And if you're not giving it what it needs, it will take it from what it has, okay? And so like I was talking about with pregnancy and females, this is another way that this happens, is if you put your body into that drastic low calorie diets. And so what we want to do is for number 6 and number 7, if you are still tracking and trying to take notes with me, I apologize, I'm kind of scatterbrained today. But number 6 and number 7 is protein and collagen. And so, of course, protein is one of the building blocks that we need to be able to have great bone density. Low protein has also been correlated with low bone density, okay? And so the number 1 protein found in bones is collagen, okay? And so if you're not getting enough collagen through your diet, I think it is a great supplement to add into anything. Most of you guys that are watching, I know that you put collagen in a lot of things that you have. Good morning, Kimberly. So that's not too much of a shocker for you. Those of you that are watching that might not have a collagen on hand, Vital Proteins is a really good one. You can get it at most of your stores, Walmart, Target, a lot of the grocery stores have that as well. It's a little bit more affordable than some of the crazy brands that are out there. And it's a good clean collagen. What's great about collagen is it's not like a protein powder. It will seamlessly integrate into anything hot or cold. And so you won't have to drink or eat lumpy things. It's one of those things that adds in really easily. And so I say this a lot of times for some of my friends that are actually taking care of their parents right now, and they say, well, I just don't know what to get them to consume. They're just not consuming anything. They don't have an appetite, things of this nature. And that's kind of where I put that into play as well. Protein, of course, it has a little bit more variety when we talk about a protein powder, and it's complete to be able to, add and give back to our body. But collagen is a great substitute if you can't handle the protein, okay? It's not going to be as beneficial. It's not going to have everything that you need, but it's a great start, okay? And so if you're not feeling so great, it's also something that you can easily add into broth and make sure that you are getting some type of nutrient other than just the broth. I know with like nausea and pregnancy and things like that, sometimes it's integrated in that way too, into just simple, drinks. So know that that is a good option, and this is great for bone density, as it is the number 1 protein that you are finding in your bones, okay? So just to recap, in a completely different order than what I've just given to you. 1 is vegetables and fruits, 2 is strength training, 3 is protein, 4 is high calcium foods, 5 is vitamin D and vitamin K, 6 is fad diets, we want to avoid those, and 7 would be collagen. Okay, so keep those in mind when you are thinking about your skeletal system and making sure that we have nice, sturdy bones for years to come. And so if you guys have any questions about the skeletal system, let me know in the links below. If you have any other suggestions in regards to body systems that we're going to be talking about for the next several weeks, let me know in that too. Or if you want to check out the replays for all the other Wellness Wednesdays, know that I will post those in the links below. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you have a fabulous Wednesday. We'll see you guys next week.